don't want a glass of orange water. I would really put the filter on.
Oh, I was wondering about that. Much better.
Well, you know, I'm really worried about this competitor that's raising all this capital to build a new multiplex cinema. He's got a lot of money, and he could just take over the entire zone. So we're really trying to counter-program against the big Hollywood film that this competitor is going to come in. A lot of foreign films, a lot of documentaries, a lot of really, fascinating stuff. So, I mean, I'm just hoping that once we really show that this is the type of thing you can expect at my theater, people really take notice, and with your protest, hopefully that will really get this out, that this is what we do. We're different. We're not the same bland, brain dead type of content that you expect to see.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but out in the green, that's actually right in front of the theater, we've been organizing nightly protests. So there's about 20, sometimes 30, if we can make it happen, of us, women, out in front looking good, with our signs, waving, getting people to honk, and basically just getting the word out and letting people know that there's something afoot, and really trying to fill in the blanks. We've been doing this probably for a week now, and we're going to continue to do it until we see some sort of change actually happening.
Wow, that's great. I love grassroots protests like that. I had no idea. Thank you. That's fantastic. I really appreciate that.
Our pleasure.
I have another problem also on the other side of this equation. The video store. They're starting to rent the videos, the type of films that I'm starting to program here, and they're giving them away. I mean, 3 for $1, and people are so used to having their home theater and all that, they don't have to go out to my theater to see a film. They'll just wait for them to come out in video and rent it from them. So now they're squeezing me. So now the type of films I'm trying to show, I'm really trying to build that programming that the local video store is killing me with. So I don't know what we can do about that one.
So maybe we need to start playing croquet regularly in front of the video store.
Croquet?
Yeah, croquet. We hold our matches usually on Sunday afternoons, or sometimes whenever there's a special occasion that we want to mark. I think this might be one of those special occasions. So, yeah, I think we could arrange to have some matches set up in front of the video store.
Croquet matches? I'm not quite sure how to make of that one. That sounds a little bit crazy, to me, croquet matches. Really.
You'll see, this is a different kind of croquet match. I mean, we take our game really seriously.
Okay, croquet. I used to play croquet as a kid. You putter around the lawn with these wickets and you knock a little ball through. It's a very genteel game. It's very English. And that's what we're going to do to help me combat a video store that's kicking me on one end and a guy with big bucks going to take my lunch in the other.
Croquet is a reason for coming together. And when we come together in a very strong way. And when we pick up those mallets and we hit the balls and we strategize and we poison and we struggle and we suffer, there are lessons that we learn through the game that actually translate pretty handily into life lessons. So yeah, croquet actually can fix your problems. And not only can croquet fix your problems, the croquet players, we can fix your problems. So yeah, give us a little credit, actually. Look, we have a lot of women, we have a lot of croquet that needs to be played. We're going to take care of this.
Okay, women in croquet. I gotta get back to the theater.
Okay. Hollywood movies, I don't know, it's such a shame now the way they're all just shoot 'em up, and I don't know what's going on with the superhero thing that everybody's doing right now. I mean, there's a sense that I don't know, they're so distanced from real life and the world that we live in. I mean, at least documentaries have some grasp of reality. Some grasp, but Hollywood movies, and also, oh my gosh, I don't know what the deal is right now, where every movie just is cut, swoop, 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 swoop. It's like complete overstimulation of the senses. I mean, no wonder kids act like they act now. I mean, not only the violence that they sort of copycat or that they act out themselves, but I mean, how can their little senses take all of this stimulation? And honestly, at the last handful of movies that I went to on a rainy day, because there was nothing better to do in this small town of ours, I saw little kids, 5, 6-year-olds, at these really violent movies that I had to cover my face for. And I just don't understand what parents nowadays are thinking about, because these are really not movies that kids should be seeing. I mean, I don't know, I don't want to sound all puritanical and censory and stuff like that, because I certainly don't believe in censorship, but I don't know, these movies scare me.
There's something attractive about a man who's sensitive to the agonies of existence.
Like Miss Julie? Miss Greenberg Club? Miss Julie, I think I learned from a friend of mine.
It's the role that I was born to play. He is me.
I don't know, it's like what our question asked, you know?
I would think that you went on with my best friend.
Yes, it's true. I can't stop myself.
Hello, Betty. This is Kay calling. I'm sorry that you were not available, but I wanted to let you know that I have a lady by the name of Sarah who's going to be organizing a protest at the video store, and she's very well regarded. She has a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and we really need her to pursue this. If you have any questions regarding this, please give me a call and I can give you more information. But a very serious, important croquet game. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, Jane. Hey, how are you? Oh, wonderful. I have a big favor, big request. We're having a major croquet game in front of the video store.
Gotta say, it's pretty nice working for Barry, you know? I don't know, projecting movies here, just got this popcorn to pop, I mean, it's little responsibility, he pays me decent. He's a good guy, you can talk to him, you know? It's nice working with somebody that you can speak to and know what they're feeling. I've worked for corporations before, and they're just faceless drones that dig you into this life of drudgery and sadness, but yeah, it's pretty okay here. Barry's a good guy.
And you, will you ever make that?
No, she's perfect. I mean, this is too good to be true.
This way. Waiting for what? So I've always had this dream of owning a movie theater, and I wasn't working. I decided, well, this might be the time to pursue that. So the good thing about the internet is you can peruse anything, that you can find ads for any business or anything you want. So there are actually websites dedicated specifically for you're looking for a movie theater. I found a whole bunch. I was really looking for an Art Deco type theater, and they were all over the country for sale, believe it or not. Most of them were dark and not making any money, but I found one located in Brunswick, Maine, and living in Boston at the time wasn't that far. It was the one that I could actually drive to check out. So I drive to this little tiny movie theater in this little mall. You would never even know a movie theater was there. It doesn't look anything like any movie theater I've ever seen, which I actually kind of liked. I meet the manager, this lovely woman named Gracia, and she's wondering why I'm asking her all these questions about the theater and how many people they have, and she has no idea that the theater is for sale. So I'm taking my dog Scooter around the town. We're walking down Main Street. It's actually called Main Street. And I see the Little Dog Cafe. And I go, well, this is obviously a sign from something, because here I have this little dog. I find this theater that you wouldn't know is a theater, which once again is me. Anything that doesn't look like it should be, that's me all over. So that's when I decided, well, this might be what I should be doing. I should be buying this theater and moving to Brunswick, Maine. So now, true to my dream, I'm a little movie theater owner.
Dorothy, I got some good news to share with you.
What?
I was talking to James today at the Cineplex, who's involved with Cineplex and the bank, and he said that he'll give us the $5,000 tomorrow. It's in the mail, and then we're going to get $300,000 to begin the project. So what do you think about that?
Oh, it sounds like good money. I mean, who wouldn't want it? But Paul, I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Why not?
Well, what about the theater? I mean, the theater, we're going to lose the theater. The theater that everyone in the whole town has had enjoyment of for years, Paul. We don't want a theater where Hollywood-type movies are being showed. We want a theater where quality films are showed. I just not. I'm not going along with this.
Yeah.
I just am not going along with it.
But I've worked so hard on the design and all that, including that wonderful light, the Frank Lloyd light.
Yes.
And I think it's important for the city to have a better theater.
Well, that's a good argument, but I still think that the town would really miss having this small theater. And Paul, we love this town just the way it is, and the theater is the type of theater that the town needs.
Small towns, small theaters, it just isn't the way to go anymore. I think we need to evolve into another area.
Well, Paul, I disagree.
And
The Eveningstar Theater is a big part of the town. It will not be the same town without the Evening Star. It's going to be like all these big towns around, Paul. It's not the same. There are people who move here from other states because of the atmosphere that the theater gives to the town. It makes it what it is as a small town USA.
yeah, but as a couple, don't you think we need the money? The extra money is going to help us to maybe move out of our small home right now and get a larger place so I could exercise my work.
Well, we can't just think of ourselves, Paul. And I think we'll regret it. You know, money can be very enticing. And that's the lure of the whole thing, is bigger and better and money. Did you know that the video store is practically giving out DVDs of the same films that are being shown at the Eveningstar Theater? They're just pushing them right out of the building. Now, do you think that's right?
So do you think I
It's
should
just-
return the money then when it arrives tomorrow?
I certainly do. I do not even want to look at it. Listen, I'm going to go now. I have a croquet club scheduled, and I think I'll just go now. We're going to protest in front of the video store.
Well, I'm sorry you disagree. I just can't stop it now. It's all, everything's in motion.
6:30 this morning out fishing, and so I didn't know about that. Well, thank you.
Oh, sure. He was probably after the striper, too.
So I understand that you're here on a more serious nature today, so why don't we start discussing what we really need to do?
Well, you're right. I'm afraid I don't have the best news, unfortunately. So, we were trying to organize the protest in the green against the Cineplex. And the ladies were fantastic. They were out there in force. They had their placards. They were dressed to kill. We were waving, we were honking, we were really getting the word out, but it doesn't really seem to have made that much of a difference. The momentum behind the Cineplex still seems to be happening. So there's that issue that we have to contend with. Then there's the video store part of things. The pinchers are getting tighter. So we scheduled the croquet match. We set up a croquet match right in front of the door. And we found that we were actually having an effect on pedestrian traffic, because trust me, we were doing our best to do a lot of heavy knocking whenever we saw people coming towards the door. But every match has its limits. So we called out reinforcements, we did a couple of matches, but unfortunately I don't think we were out there long enough.
Sarah, I've been thinking about this, and our discussion is very important today. We really need to go full force with this. What you've done is excellent, and you showed great leadership in this, but I'm going to give you some names who are just heavy hitters, and we need to have these people at City Hall, and they have the financial backing as well, and they also know a lot about the political process here. So I just have one more person I want to add here. I'm going to add Betty. She's a member of our oldest family in the community, so she would be a very good one to contact. If you contact these people,
Okay.
these are very important people in the community.
Okay.
They care about our community. They also have the financial means to back us, and we just have to pull out all the stops. This has to be the big one now, okay? And you've done wonderful work, but we have to be very serious and go for it.
Perfect. No, I
Okay.
understand, and
All
thank
right.
you, because I will definitely contact them,
Okay.
and we'll get it done. This will
Wonderful,
happen.
Sarah. Thank you.
So great to see you again.
Same here.
And I'm sure I will see you again soon. Okay.
Shortly.
Thanks for the tea. It was really good.
About a week ago, I was at the end of a stretch of having worked 7 days in a row between covering for one of the other projectionists, covering for the owner who was beside himself with worry over who knows what. So I met up with my friends to go to the beach, and our favorite beach happens to be Higgins Beach, which is a nice south-facing beach with waves roll in, perfect for playing in the waves with a boogie board, and generally just a good swim. There were 6 of us in our entourage. We're enjoying the water for a while, and the skinniest in our bunch decides he was cold and would rather just go sit on his towel and listen to his iPod, so we didn't worry about him going and doing that. One of my other friends, who was about my height and I were a little further out than was prudent for a height given the situation we were unaware was unfolding. And our other friends had started moving into the shore and told us we needed to probably move in as well, and as we're trying to make our way to them, it became apparent to me that it wasn't going to happen anytime soon. So I had that moment where I could have panicked, and it would have been an easy stretch, being that I was frustrated, burnt out from work, and thought about it, decided, no, just relax, don't panic, I don't need to be swept out to sea because I panicked. Paddling along, just taking it easy, not going right against the riptide, because if you've ever been caught in one, you would know that will just tire yourself out. So I made progress, was going across the rip instead of into it, and felt pretty good about it. But then I looked over towards my other friend who had been out with me and saw a complete panicked expression on her face. my survival instinct said, yeah, get out of the water. But I couldn't leave my friend out there. So I had to go back into the rib. Got to my friend, got her calmed down. We started trying to make our way to the shore. She was still kind of freaking out. But the day ended well because I'm here able to tell the story and continue to do what I do at the cinema and what I have to do for other people at the cinema. But that was an interesting day at the beach to cap off a long stretch of stress.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
If we're closing, I need to know, like, do you know a date when they're opening, when we're going to be forced out?
Depends how long the construction takes. I mean, nothing has even been started yet. So
Have they asked you if you know any employees that...
They haven't been in touch with me about staffing at all.
All right, well, I mean, if this place is going to close, I got to, like, I mean, I can't, you need to give me my 2 weeks notice. I need to know if like, I need to get on Craigslist, look for a job.
Well, obviously, if I'm closing this, I should have an idea of how long it would be so I can give all my employees the proper notice and things like that. And therefore, if the other place is opening up and needs employees like you, I'll then be able in a position to get people over there. So, yeah, I mean, but right now, I don't know when they're going to open. I don't know when they're starting construction.
Right.
So, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I hear your concerns.
I mean, I can get a job here. I know you. I don't know anonymous whoever at the Corporation Theater. I mean, how am I supposed to talk to these people?
I can't answer that. I mean, like I said, when it comes down to that, then I will talk because I want all my employees to be able to pay their bills. So I will talk, to them, to the new owners.
Says my name is Lana and I work in the store and oh look, there's a person playing croquet. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I play croquet. If you bought a Ralph Lauren t-shirt with someone playing polo on it, does that mean that you're actually playing polo? Heck, I'd rather go kick a soccer ball around than play croquet. That sounds like something from the Middle Ages.
It's boring. It's absolutely boring. Silly game. Absolutely silly game. All those color balls. What's the story with the blue or the red?
I don't know why anyone would play croquet. It seems like kind of a silly sport to me. I certainly would never want to be associated with it.
I don't know what's going on with the people in Brunswick. They're just like wasting their time doing this croquet.
I see lots of goldenrod down there, and that always makes me sneeze, but oh well.
6 more weeks before we have the fall. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sarah.
I mean, first comes fall and then comes winter, but okay. And I guess we have a lot to do before the snow falls.
We do. And speaking of that, I really think that it's time that we protest City Hall. I think that's going to be an important step next. And I also have a very special croquet set that I think would be very effective in your game playing.
Ooh, your great-grandmother's croquet set?
Yes, yes. Let me get it for you. And I know that I am leaving this in very good hands with you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think it'll be very effective.
I think we'll make it great. No worries about that.
I have the greatest confidence in you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
What if I walked 1,000
trouble. Whoa, yo, take me back home to the coast of Maine. Whoa, yo, take me back home where they remember my name. The things I start I never finish. All my bones are old and thin. If I could only hear the angels singing, then maybe I could break this prison. Well, like the dead, I draw strength. Tell me what is it I need?
When I'm stressed, you're stressed.
Get some more, then maybe I could find my way back home. Whoa, yo, take me back home to the coast of Maine. Whoa, yo, take me back home where they remember my name.
What do you think? Huh?
About 2 years ago, in a cold February night in Maine, I went out to my car and the wind was blowing. I had my arms full of things and I opened my front door and I was parked on a slant. So I braced the door and I put the things I had in my hands in the back seat and raced to go into the front seat. And I didn't realize my door had somewhat closed on me. When I did move to go into the front seat, I actually drove the corner of the door into my head in this location. It hurt considerably. I was quite startled by it and I had tears in my eyes and saw stars, but I brushed it off like I usually do and said, okay, that's going to hurt for a while, and I moved on. About a week later, I started having some effects of dizziness and being unstable, and I brushed that off as well, thinking, oh, I had an ear infection or something. And about a week after that, I started having headaches, and the headaches were very intense. I could not get away from them. I could not medicate them with any medicine that would stop the pain. I called my doctor on several occasions, and eventually they just said, go to the emergency room if you can't handle it. So I was laying on my bed one day when I could not stand the pain anymore, and I was thrashing, and I looked up at my ceiling and I said, dear God, please take this pain away. I can't take it anymore. And a very male voice said to me quite clearly, Diane, you need help. And you can't get it we won't get in any other way. You need to go get help. So I was so startled by this, I got out of my bed, I got dressed, and I headed for the ER. I called a friend because I realized I was above my abilities driving a vehicle, and I made connection with them, and they proceeded to take me to the hospital where I learned I had a subdural hematoma from the door.
Yeah, croquet. Are you kidding me? I mean, nothing but a bunch of fat cats sitting around on their perfectly manicured lawns, batting these little balls around, all wearing, of course, the most impeccably white clothing. Just ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Croquet? Where I come from, no one would be caught dead playing that sport. I mean, excuse me, did I call it a sport? Would I even give it that kind of accolade? But yeah, silly. I mean, I guess it's, is it like polo, badminton, pastimes of the wealthy and the I don't have anything else to do to fill my time. Ladies that lunch, who snack on bonbons while they watch television all day. Those must be the people who play croquet. I certainly would not play croquet. Well, thanks everyone for coming out today. I really appreciate it. As you know, we've got some very important work to do today. So thanks for being behind us and behind saving the community. Before I get into the rules, which you guys kind of already know, but we'll do a quick review, I just wanted to be sure that everyone's been speaking negatively about croquet. Of course. Okay. Excellent. This is really critical because we want to be able to preserve our individual anonymity, that's a tough word to say, as it relates to our membership in the club. Because the club's going to be doing some very important business in the next several weeks. And so we want to be sure that everyone is protected and everyone's really careful. So that's why we're instituting this new rule. Okay, so very quickly, you guys are all familiar with our 10 rules, but I just want to reinforce rule number 1, which actually is expressed in all of the other 9 rules, but it probably bears repeating. A stroke should be a blow and not a push. So just keep that in mind, not only as we play croquet, but as we use our games of croquet in order to make a difference and to really try to accomplish something. The other rules include a player using the wrong ball must suffer. And yes, we mean this metaphorically. Of course, literally, as we all know, the game of croquet is not the peaceful, sweet little game we all initially thought it was. But those using the wrong ball should be made to suffer. The other rules include no play is permitted outside of boundaries. We set the boundaries, we set the wickets, and we be sure that no play occurs outside of the boundaries that we establish. It's nice to be able to establish these things. A booby is a ball that fails to make the first arch. So something for us all to remember. We want to complete every task that we set out, taking it to the end, seeing the results that we want to make. A rover has made its round, but not hit the stake. Again, it's all well and good if we walk around and say that we're doing something or pretend that we're doing something, but unless we actually make a difference and we really fulfill what we're trying to do, we might as well not do anything at all. So we're not just about speak, not just about words, we're about action. Don't be a rover. Now I'm going to hand out cards to see who plays in this, one of our most critical games. Now everyone please look at your card. Who has the black ball? Okay, let's go for it. Go to it.
So this was a few years back now. My sister and I were driving up through kind of rural Vermont. My parents have a house in the mountains out there, and they had gone on ahead of us. And we were to meet them there. We had both had to stay behind for one reason or another. So we were driving fairly late at night. I think it was around midnight at this point. We were kind of in a hurry to get there, so I may have been speeding maybe a little faster than I should have. But as we were coming along this mountain road, essentially in the middle of nowhere, no civilization in sight, we came around this bend, and all of a sudden there was a woman sitting cross-legged right in the middle of the road. And had my focus shifted for one moment from driving, probably would have been the end for her. I managed to swerve around and just kind of kept driving. I don't know who she was or why she was there, almost as if she was a ghost.
I have to say I can't really think of a game more stupid than croquet. Yeah, no, really. It's the only game that I have just been bored to tears with. It just seems so pointless, so dumb. Like, okay, hit this ball on the grass. Woo! I really like eating artichokes, and I really don't like squirrels. And there was this one time that I was eating an artichoke in a park, and this squirrel came up to me looking for my artichoke, and suddenly this other squirrel came up to me, and all of a sudden there were these 3 squirrels, and it felt like they were completely surrounding me, wanting this artichoke. And basically I had to stare down with them. I ended up getting a little scared and gave them some artichoke leaves, and I felt like that allowed me some time to escape. But I like artichokes, still don't like squirrels.
Guess what, Dorothy? Tomorrow we're going to get a check for $300,000. And I'm so happy about it. It's going to help us a lot.
Paul, I don't want to hear it. I had hoped you would have changed your mind. I'm not happy about it. I don't want that money. I want the Eveningstar Cinema to stay in the town. The town needs the theater. It needs the Eveningstar Theater for the reasons we've shared with each other. And I thought you would change your mind. And now you're telling me that the deal has gone through.
Yes.
I want you to undo that deal.
I can't.
Go and tell them you don't want that money.
I don't want to do that because I'm thinking of our future. It's very important.
Our future is not at somebody else's expense, Paul, like I said. I don't want $300,000 in that way. Not like that, okay?
You're part of this?
Yes, I am. It's my wife.
You knew this?
Well, yes and no. I knew that he was, well, I hoped he would change his mind, and I didn't want to say anything because
You said nothing about this to us?
Well, you're my friends, and I didn't want to lose your friendship. And I hoped I had convinced him to change his mind. I'm not behind it.
Hey, it's our future. And that's what we're concerned
He
about.
has fallen into the
So-
trap of
Thinking
making
only of yourself?
Exactly.
No.
He's fallen into the trap of big money. Big money has been waved in front of his face, and he has taken it. The big lure.
Well, I disagree with that, Dorothy. To me, I'm looking at as my future, and you're involved in my life, so it's our future.
I don't want $300,000 that's going to cause someone else to go out of business.
Well, I got to think about this. I'm really disappointed with, especially with your croquet
Well,
team
honey,
here.
our love is more important than money.
Well,
And you're not doing it
disagree.
for me, honey, because I don't want it. Okay?
Well, let me think about it. I can't go back in there and tell James that this thing is all over with. First of all, James is probably doing something else right now. He's probably left his office. And
Okay. Well, you're my husband, and you want what's best for us, and you're doing it because you think I want it, and I don't want it. So I want you to undo it, for me and for us.
I'm really terribly disappointed, Dorothy, really, because I think this would help us very much for our future and also for the community. You know, we need a cineplex. We really do.
Like a hole in the head.
I don't know what to do. I don't think James is there anymore anyway. I think he had another appointment. So I don't know why you want to go back in there.
Honey, it's what's right. It's what's right is what we're standing together for. And I think you're going to regret this.
Well, he's written out the check already.
Well, take it and give it right back to him. I know you're going to have to eat crow, but go do it, and I'll go with you. Let's go do it together.
So
let's
it's
go
just
do
the both of us going in there, not your
Absolute-
friends?
We'll come too.
it. Let's all go in. Let's go in. Let's get it undone.
Go ahead. Hopefully he's still there.
After you.
In 1956, my family home burnt to the ground. My mother, who had been baking a cake, had gone to the woods to pick up some kindling. My brother, who was sick, he was 5 years old at the time, was in a high chair in front of the wood stove. And myself and my sister were outdoors playing. We came in and we saw the flames going up the side of the chimney, and we got my brother and we headed out of the house, and as we were doing that, my leg went through the front porch flooring and I was stuck, and we could see the flames going up the side of the wall. My brother, who was 5 years old at the time, got an axe and actually chopped around my leg and freed me, and we went to my aunt's home. My mother had come into the home, and thinking that all her children were inside this burning home, she singed her eyebrows, her eyelashes, and the neighbors just grabbed her and pulled her back, and while she's thinking her children are in this home. This was in a small fishing community of Cundy's Harbor, and the neighbors got together and they acquired the lumber and the means, the workforce, and built us a new home. And the new home is just up the street. I can see it from my house here presently. And we had a new home built for us and all the furnishings, and a turkey dinner was presented to us on our first day in our new home. First time I'd had running water, first time that I had electricity, first time I had a gas stove.
I never played sports when I was a kid, or ever. I grew up mostly just watching movies, running around here and there. Nothing really intense, so it was a surprise to me when a couple of years ago I got this pain in my knee. And I go to the doctor, and he says I have osteochondritis dissecans. My knee's all just falling apart. There's no cartilage left, there's bone fragments. So I'm on a cane, I'm on crutches. You know, I always thought it'd be cool to have like a cane, be one of those cane guys. But then it's kind of annoying because you only have one hand to do everything. But anyway, I get the operation, and I'm in there with all these sports guys. They have torn meniscuses and other knee problems. They're all seeing the same knee doctor as me. I just don't fit in. I'm not one of these like sport people. I don't know why did I get this this knee problem. And the doctor says, you're fixed, you can walk, but you can't really run again, you can't do anything too high impact. Climb these stairs every day, but that's about it. They always say you're gonna miss things, you don't know what you have till it's gone, but I don't really miss running or jumping. I mean, I don't think people really miss anything. They just kind of tell themselves that because they want to feel better, like their problem's important somehow. But then again, here I am telling this story, so I guess I think my problem's important somehow. I don't know. I don't know if anybody misses anything. I think if it's gone, it's gone, and if it's here, it's here. And nobody cares either way.
So here are the final drawings, Barry. This is what the cinema's going to look like. What do you think?
Fantastic. I love the green roof, and I'm glad we were able to incorporate the balcony that we were talking about. I was worried that we were going to have to lose that for cost.
I think the 3 cinemas is the right size, and I think it scales well for the neighborhood. I think this works on a lot of levels for us.
That's beautiful. Great job.
Now these croquet protesters out front are another story altogether. I don't, everywhere I look, there's this woman with a mallet interrupting business locally, and I don't know how we're going to ever break ground with these people around, but maybe time will heal that issue.
Either that or we have to call the authorities. I mean, we can't let these people interfere with what we're trying to do here. I mean, this is business practice. They have no right.
I told those people, we're not going to be intimidated. Their antics will not slow down this project. BarryNORMAN will not be intimidated. And some of them seem to know who you are, and some of them seem to think that maybe you will be intimidated.
Wait a minute. You said my name. You said BarryNORMAN will not be intimidated to some of these people.
I did.
And you said some of them seem to know me?
They seem to know you well.
They know me well.
Do they know who you are? I don't know if they know you personally, but they knew your name.
They know who I am.
They know of BarryNORMAN. They packed up almost immediately and left.
And you told them my name, and they
all of them left. As they were leaving, they shouted the cineplex and the theater. Are you okay?
I don't know. I don't know. This.
At any rate, we need to get this thing signed. I've got another appointment coming in. I've had my assistant draft an agreement, and because this is an extra special project to us, I've included one of my favorite ink wells. I don't know if you know that about me, but I do collect ink wells. You ready to do this? You know, if you stay in that current location, you will end up a cripple. Every time I see you, you're all hunched over, you're walking scooter, you're limping, you can't continue in that current location. This is the prize. This is what you've been thinking about for months, going on a year. Let's get this done. And quite frankly, I need to keep moving. I've got another appointment. We're going to just keep the ball moving downfield. What does this say? What have you written here? This doesn't look like your signature.
That's my signature.
It doesn't look like any other signature you've ever signed. Frankly, the way I read it, that says meet and greet.
I grew up on a farm in North Carolina, Granville County. I'm 6 years old and my brother's 8 years old. We're chasing each other around in the yard and running around my father's old rusty truck. And my brother says, hey, why don't we jump on the back of the truck and swing our legs off the back of it? And I say to my brother, we can't do that because Daddy said that we could get hurt. If he gets in the truck and backs up, we could be killed because we could go under the truck. So my brother says, that won't happen. Let's sit on the back of the truck and swing our legs back and forth. So my father does get into the truck. He backs up. My brother jumps off, and my legs go under the truck. And my father gets very angry at me for days, and my brother is laughing. I felt very betrayed.
Barry's the Eveningstar guy. The new Eveningstar is Barry. You gotta be kidding me. I stand here, I talk to him, he says he's gonna help me get a job if he can. He lies to me to my face. You gotta be kidding me with this guy. I thought I knew the guy.
Right after I graduated college, I wanted to work in the magazine industry. I wanted to work for National Lampoon. I went to a program at New York University for 6 weeks of magazine publishing. The main reason was because the head of the magazine publishing at NYU was actually the publisher for National Lampoon magazine, so I thought that would be a good way to get in. It was actually a great 6-week program, and true enough, when I told him what I was interested in doing, he got me an interview with the editor-in-chief at that time for National Lampoon. I said, oh, this is my big start. This is what I wanted to do. I had my April 1st editions of my college newspapers that I could bring to show them, and so I was all excited about this this program and possibly getting a job with National Lampoon. So I went in there, and they looked at my stuff, and they go, not bad, but you didn't go to Harvard. Now, we only want people who went to Harvard because we came from Harvard Lampoon. So I didn't get that job, and I was unemployed for a little while, and I ended up homeless. I was actually living on the streets of Washington Park in Greenwich Village, and my big goal every day was to beg for $3. $3 got me one slice of pizza, got me one joint, and got me one a tall boy of beer. $3 was my goal every day. It wasn't too hard to do, and that's how I survived for a while. I then made the decision that I'm going to get in the magazine industry somehow, so I'm going to start from the ground up, the real business end. So I applied to the largest magazine distributor in the world, Fortune 500 company. And I actually got an interview, and I'm sitting with the executive vice president of the New York division, and we're sitting across from each other for 5 minutes, and he's just staring at me. Finally, after 5 minutes, he just says, Denver or Houston? That was the interview. The whole interview was, did I want to move to Denver or Houston? So I picked Denver. So I take 3 days to move from Boston to Denver. My job was district sales manager. I have a 3-state territory, all of Colorado, all of Wyoming, and the western part of Nebraska. I have a company car. I go and pick up a brand new Pontiac while I'm there. I have an expense account. I don't have a boss in Denver. My boss is in San Francisco, so I'm completely by myself working this 3-state territory for this large Fortune 500 company. This is after just becoming homeless in New York City. I said, wow, this is what work is supposed to be about. You graduate college, you get this huge job, expense account, and everything. 3 months after getting the job, we have a national sales meeting at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach, and I go, wow, this is just amazing. So I go to the Fontainebleau Hotel, and I find out that I'm the absolute youngest person working for the entire company. I mean, everyone is there, and it's exactly as I had pictured from Mad Magazine what work is like. A bunch of white, middle-aged, cigar chomping, martini guzzling men. I mean, the sales meeting was basically, we have an hour in the morning of some meetings, and the rest of the day to yourselves. They had a cabana open 24 hours with top shelf liquor, and that's where everyone, all the sales reps from all over, all the district sales managers were at. They were at the cabana getting drunk, chasing all the pretty girls around around the pool. I finally met my boss. Like I said, he was out of San Francisco, this big, heavy-set guy, and the first time he meets me, he goes, oh, you're Barry. There's 3 things I don't like. I don't like Jews, I don't like college pukes, and I hate that son of a bitch in New York that hired you. So I'm thinking, okay, I might have my work cut out for me here, but I was thinking, okay, he's in San Francisco, I'm in Denver. I mean, if I just work my ass off, do all the paperwork, everything I'm supposed to do to the letter, what can he say? I'm 22 years old, my first job, and it's a huge job. I'm just going to be the best district sales manager they've ever seen. So after the sales meeting, I go back to Colorado, and I'm working my ass off. I found out that the guy that had the territory before me kept on quitting and then asking to be hired, quitting and rehired. This happened like 4 or 5 times. They kept on rehiring him. I find out he never went anywhere else in the territory. He just stayed in Denver. So every time I went to another city, Grand Junction or Casper, Wyoming, they said this is the first time I saw a rep from my company in years. So I'm thinking, man, I am working the territory incredibly well, and the sales for the territory are way, way up. I mean, in 1 year, they're up 45% than they were the year before. So I'm thinking I'm the golden boy. I can't do wrong now. My boss in San Francisco, my boss in New York are going to think I'm great. I finally decided to take a trip to the farthest part of my territory, which is North Platte, Nebraska. I get there, and I get to the wholesaler, the magazine wholesaler, and they say there's a call for me. And I pick up the phone, and it's my boss in San Francisco, and he goes, oh, you're fired. I'm going, why? What? No, he goes, you know what you did. Fired.
Well, we did it. We shut down the Eveningstar Theater. I still can't believe what Barry did to us. Here we were, Kay, myself, the entire Women's-Only Croquet team of Brunswick, Maine, trying to make sure that he wasn't run over by some nameless, faceless, anonymous conglomerate. And guess what? He turned out to be that nameless, faceless conglomerate, except he had a name and he had a face. And he looked into our faces and he smiled and he congratulated us on everything that we had done. And then we find out that he was behind the multiplex we were all fearing and fighting to get rid of. So the lights are going to go out in the Eveningstar Theater now and forever, because we managed, ultimately, to figure out how to protest and how to resolve and move together all of our power and all of our resources to make something happen. And we wanted to protect this community. We wanted to protect it from the commercial enterprises that come in and feed off of us instead of build and contribute to our community. It's just a shame that someone we thought was a friend and a fellow community member turned out to be that same kind of person. But he's gone now, and ultimately we were able to succeed and we were able to protect our community. And so I hope other people will take a lesson from this, because we can succeed in what we decide to go after. Well, I think Hollywood movies are absolutely the most important things we have in our society right now. I mean, first of all, they're everywhere. So they really are a testimony to how strong we are as a nation. Because, shoot, now Hollywood movies open in the world, in other countries, before they even open here. And also, I mean, I think that Hollywood movies can really sort of testify to who we are as Americans, as an American culture. I mean, they teach us right from wrong. They tell us who's good, who's bad. I mean, they have really careful sort of examinations of these things. And I mean, have you ever seen a Hollywood movie that doesn't have some sort of, you know, indication of truth, justice, and the American way? I mean, gosh, all the superhero movies right now are superheroes because they embrace truth, justice, and the American way. So I love going to Hollywood movies. Besides, how else can you burn a couple of hours in complete and utter, I won't say thoughtlessness, but certainly living in another world that isn't necessarily your world. And sometimes I like to forget my world and go live somewhere else. So Hollywood movies can be good for that too.
Well, it does have hammers and it says they're out.
Singing, then maybe I could break this bread.